Tonight, the case remains unsolved and police need your help. In tonight's Cold Cases, Fox 5's Paul Wagner takes a look at this mysterious murder.
I felt like a bullet went right through my heart.
This vicious, cruel person ripped this beautiful woman right out of our lives and is still walking the streets.
I miss everything about her.
Sherry Ann Culp was shot to death 2.5 years ago, and her parents and sisters are still struggling with the loss.
It's just hard for a mother to explain that instant of what it feels like to be told that your child is dead.
Her family continues to draw attention to the crime with yearly vigils and are determined to find justice for Sherry. The night Sherry Culp was killed, she walked down these stairs and across this lawn to where her car was parked right over here. The second she began walking down those steps, the gunman was watching from somewhere here in this industrial court. It was cold and damp that night here in Springfield as Sherry made her way to the car, and there were few people around. Police say she didn't even have enough time to put her keys in the ignition before the gunman opened fire through this window. The next few minutes were chaotic as the gunman took off down the street and co-workers rushed to Sherry's aid.
I don't feel a pulse, and Angel said, I don't feel a pulse either.
Ken Nelson administered CPR while others called 911.
The ambulance passenger, the guy riding a shotgun, came out of the ambulance, and I said, I've got no pulse, she's not breathing, and she's pregnant.
Although Sherry died, doctors were able to deliver her baby.
At that point, I was thinking, okay, my daughter's gone, but Kelsey will live on for Sherry. Little did I know.
Kelsey Morgan hung on for 2 days before passing away and is buried in her mother's arms. Because the baby died, police began investigating a double murder.
We've looked everywhere.
Detective Cindy Lundberg is the lead investigator in the case.
Gone up to Wisconsin to talk to people, down to Florida to talk to people, everybody. But we haven't really come up with too many leads.
But one thing police are fairly certain of is the motive.
Looking at the evidence, it was not a random shooting. Somebody wanted Sherry killed, bottom line.
Somebody was out to get her?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Witnesses saw two men sitting here in a maroon Ford Ranger just before Sherry was killed. One was white, one was black. Eyewitnesses say the getaway driver looks like this, but the gunman is only described as a black man in a jumpsuit with a hood. He left the truck and walked up here, where Sherry was killed just outside her building. Sherry had recently been divorced and was in the middle of a custody battle for her 2 daughters. Police quickly focused in on her ex-husband, Don Culp, as a prime suspect. But investigators have come up with no evidence to link him to the crime, and he has an alibi.
We've requested interviews, and he hasn't cooperated with us in granting our requests.
Police still consider Don Culp a suspect. Detectives say they have repeatedly asked him to take a lie detector test to clear his name, a request he has so far refused.
What could that possibly do for you?
Well, at least it would clear him. We could go on to other things.
We contacted Don Culp by phone. He now lives in Cleveland. And on the question of a lie detector test and why he won't take one, Culp said, quote, Detective Agnew told me one wasn't necessary. If he wants to back off that now, I consider the polygraph a closed issue. Culp also told us, quote, I really didn't know anything about her personal life. I wish I could say more to that fact, but we really had gone our own ways. Sherry's family calls this claim total fiction.
Thanks for trying to save my sister.
Sherry's family is also deeply suspicious of Don Culp and is currently suing him for the right to see her 2 daughters. This cherry tree was planted in memory of Sherry outside her office window.
This family needs answers. I feel like I've taken over her life.
You have to see it through.
And I have to see it through.
Paul Wagner, Fox 5 News.
In the course of the investigation, detectives also took a close look at Sherry's boyfriend, the father of her unborn child. Police say Al Barnett has completely cooperated with the investigation, and he's passed a polygraph test. If you have any information on this case, call the Fairfax County Police Crime Solvers line at 703-691-8888. Holly?
Hopefully that will help. Looking for a new job.